A statue of Mary, a cornhusk demon, and Cerberus walk into a bar. The bartender looks at all three of them and says, "You must be from Charlotte, North Carolina, because that's where our selection of strange stories takes place." Today we continue our interview with Sara Rose, who has seen every type of paranormal entity you can imagine, and they just keep coming. Cuddle up next to your favorite ghost and prepare to be scared. Today on Homespun Haints. Hello, Hainted Loves. Welcome to Homespun Haints. I'm Becky.
Hey, I'm Diana.
Guess what?
What?
Today, we have the second part of our interview with Sara Rose.
Oh, that's right. You remember Sara Rose. You heard from her just last week. But wait, there's more.
Not all of her spooky encounters happened in the garages where she worked. In fact,
some of them also happened out on the road.
And in her house.
Yeah.
And in other places.
Yeah.
Boy, she has some stories for you. You guys are going to love this.
Totally different direction, too.
We're moving out of the garage and into the house.
But some of the things that Cynthia said a few weeks ago, I think there's some clarification. So if you've been curious ever since then, now you'll get satisfaction.
Satisfaction. Can you just see Mick Jagger singing it right now? No?
I can't.
My children attended this rock music camp that they do every year. It's at the same place where they take their music lessons. What they do is they pair the kids up with other kids based on the instruments they play and their age. And then at the end of the week, on Friday night, they rent out a room in a bar with a stage, and the bands perform.
You said it was just Oklahoma that the babies go to the bar.
Well, it's a bar/restaurant.
Georgia, too, huh?
Georgia, yeah, babies are in bars in Georgia, okay? All right, you can make fun of Oklahoma all you want, but Georgia's got babies in bars. It happens.
Do you have to pay an uncorking fee if you do breastfeeding in the bar? BYO.
Bring your own boob.
Sorry. It's a good time. Children in a bar. So the children go to the bar and they rock out.
They rock out, yes. And
the drunk adults cheer them on.
Yeah.
Aww.
A lot of the adults are sober.
Well, they're parents, so.
Some.
Oh, wait, the parents aren't the sober ones, sorry.
I just cannot describe to you how cute it was. The very first band that got up there, they must have been 5, 6, 7 years old. They were so tiny. They start playing Immigrant Song by Led Zeppelin, and it's incredibly out of tune, and this kid's just like screaming his head off with like, ah!
Cool.
I was beside myself. It was adorbs. And then my child got up there, and he headbanged the entire time. And was doing splits in the air while he sang. He was getting himself out of breath. And then my daughter's band got up there, and my daughter played the bass and the guitar. I did not think I could see anything so cute. And I kept thinking about how these things were not allowed when we were children during the Satanic Panic. Led Zeppelin would not be allowed.
No freaking
for
way.
Little kids to be able to play it.
No way.
But now, thanks to the enlightened 21st century, our children don't know what we did for them. They can get up there and rock out to Black Sabbath.
That's right. We crawled so they could rock. How cute. Oh, when I was a kid, I went to Christian camp in the summer. And we swam in a lake with brain-eating amoebas. Yeah. They had to spray us down with rubbing alcohol every time we got out of the lake. It was great. That was like a specific job one of the teen counselors had to do. It was squirt rubbing alcohol out of a condiment bottle all over the kids.
Are you serious?
Yes, I'm serious. That happened.
Why rubbing alcohol?
So we didn't get nose infections, eye infections, ear infections. It was really warm too, because it just sat out in the sun all day. So it was the hottest, burniest moment of the day is getting out of the lake and having to stand in line and get all alcohol all over your face so none of your face holes got infected.
How is this legal?
They dilute the alcohol. It's fine.
It just never occurred to me to squirt, to get an empty mayonnaise bottle and fill it with
more
rubbing
like a
alcohol.
mustard or ketchup bottle.
Or
so
mustard,
it's got a
whatever.
nice point. Yeah.
Okay, so like you have it like McDonald's or something.
Squirted
with
on a kid's nose or ears or eyes or something.
Why not just not swim in the lake?
Wouldn't that be pleasant? No, we were never
Yeah.
given that option. I guess
Why
because
would-
you can't put a boat in the pool.
Yes, you can.
And the biggest part
I've done it.
of camp that's like fun is doing water sports that you can't do at home because you don't have a lake at home. So like I enjoy tubing, which is basically just body surfing, except a boat pulls you along while you're body surfing. They'll like drag you at 30 miles an hour and you'll be flying up in the air and bouncing down, flying in the air and bouncing down, fly up 5-6 feet. Don't let go.
So it's worth being doused in hot rubbing alcohol afterward.
Everything has its checks and balances.
That sounds horrible, but you just, well, you made it sound like it was terrible, but then you talked about how much fun it was.
Well, yeah, you don't notice that something's terrible if you have no point of comparison.
So what would you have preferred? Christian water sports or band camp?
Oh, definitely band camp. I didn't learn anything at this camp.
Speaking of options, I want to talk to you all about the most dangerous paranormal portals that you have in your own home.
Wow. Becky, where'd you find objective data on the most dangerous paranormal portals?
This is absolutely not objective. This is not objective. You know the objective source? The objective source is me, motherfuckers, because
How many times have I been possessed before I become an expert?
I'm an expert. I am self-declaring myself an expert. I think Diana and I are both certified experts in this shit by now.
We are now.
We've
Yeah.
been doing
After
it for a
5
while.
years of listening to true ghost stories, talking to psychics, we know a lot of details.
And then prior to this podcast, Diana and I, it's not like we just fell out of a tree one day and we're like, hey, let's start a paranormal podcast. No, we were enmeshed in this world for years before we decided to pursue our passion and collect these stories for you.
It's true. We were so haunted
We were always haunted.
long before this started.
Diana, would you even consider visiting a town without going on a ghost tour there?
No.
Exactly.
What a waste of time.
Right?
I just have
Yeah.
to go back.
Yeah. I think Diana's been on a ghost tour in every single city in the US.
I wish. Oh, that'd be a resume item right at the top.
She's come close. Well, I feel pretty qualified to let you know, in case you had not gleaned this information from our episodes up until now, to give you 5 areas of your home that are most likely to become paranormal portals.
5 areas of your home that are most likely to transport you to an alternate reality.
Right.
I like it.
I think we all know number 1.
2 mirrors facing each other in a bathroom.
Yes.
Apparently, this is the most dangerous situation you can have in your home.
It is absolutely the most dangerous situation you can have. I don't care if you live on top of a cemetery. If you put 2 mirrors across from each other in a bathroom, you are asking for trouble, Diana. Especially if one of those mirrors is used.
See, I think the most dangerous would be if you had a mirror on the ceiling and a mirror on the floor, because then every time you fell into the portal, you just keep falling forever.
Well, this is things that you're likely to have. in
Oh,
your
I
house.
see.
I think a lot of people, if you're kinky enough, you might have a mirror on the ceiling, but you probably don't have a mirror on the floor.
Different kink, man.
Okay, I guess you can see everything that way. Wow, if anybody has this, let us know.
This kink?
Yeah, actually, that too. I'm curious what that would look like.
We're that kind of a podcast
I
now.
see myself from so many angles. Really hope that you waxed everywhere, because that could be startling.
Mirrors, they happen to be waterproof too, so all sorts of things useful.
But they are not shatterproof.
That is the dangerous part. Yeah, don't wear your stilettos on them.
Or bang too hard. Yes, so you're right, absolutely, Diana. 2 mirrors facing across from one another. Hella dangerous. Only do it if you're asking for trouble. Mirror on the floor and mirror on the ceiling in your sex dungeon. Also very dangerous, but for other reasons.
Layer upon layer of danger. Like endless reflections and 2 mirrors that face each other. Now, here's the thing. I once lived in a building where the elevator had mirrors on all 4 walls and the ceiling. So no matter what when the elevator doors closed, no matter which direction you looked in, you saw 10,000 of yourself. Except if you look straight up, then you just see one.
You hope it's only yourself.
Yeah, you hope all of those people are you. They sure look like you.
That's probably not typically in your home, so it's not going to be on the list, but that does sound like it's more of a recipe for disaster.
It was in my home when I lived there. It counts as in your home if you have to take the dog out at midnight in your pajamas in it.
How many stories up did you live?
Only like 6.
Oh, but that's still high enough you don't want to walk those stairs.
Not at midnight in my pajamas with the dog having to pee.
Well, you wonder why you're so haunted now, Diana. Just gonna leave it at that.
It was definitely not just that, but every little bit counts.
Do you even know if you're in the same dimension that you started at when you started renting that apartment?
I don't even know. How would I know?
Exactly. Moving on.
Oh, were you going to say elevators was number 2?
No, because most people don't have elevators in their homes. They are a transitional space. They are a liminal space. And they do tend to be very haunted. And an elevator with mirrors in it is very haunted. So I would put that at like a number 6.
Okay.
Just because not every hotel or apartment building is going to have an elevator, especially an elevator with mirrors. But if you have such a thing, take the stairs if at all possible.
Agreed. Plus, it's pretty good for your heart.
Number 2 is...
Oh, I can guess number 2.
What?
Chair lifts. Like the one in Gremlins that shoots the mean old lady through the roof.
Why is that a portal?
It's like the liminal space that you spend the most time in while also being completely helpless and motionless. You don't have a lot of passive liminal spaces in your house.
The toilet.
No, you're pretty active on the toilet, not passive.
Well, part of your body is, but you are very helpless when you're on the toilet.
You're pretty helpless. It takes a lot of steps before you can run away.
This is why people steal your purse when you're in the toilet, because they figure you're probably not going to stand up with shit dripping down your leg and chase after them. Though my grandmother did that once and got her purse back. It was pretty amazing. Yeah.
Of course she did. She used the gun in her pot holder.
Oh, this is the other
Oh,
grandmother.
man.
This is the not country one.
Oh.
She's still like, you don't take my purse.
Oh. Lesson to be learned. I have indeed teleported from a toilet before, and it's risky.
It is. I would definitely put the toilet at number 2.
I feel it happening sometimes, and I'm like, not again. Not today, Satan. Let's finish up real fast.
When that does happen, are you able to kind of pull yourself out and keep yourself from slipping into said portal?
If I get out of the bathroom real fast.
Now, of course, if you combine numbers 1 and 2, you're really in for a multi-dimensional treat.
Why wouldn't you do both while you're on the toilet?
No, I mean, if you are on the toilet in a bathroom that has 2 mirrors across from each other.
Oh, okay. Different
Yeah,
number 1 and number 2. Got it.
I do like the chairlift idea. But I think also these are things that most people have in their homes.
True. Okay, fair. My guess is elevators and chairlifts probably aren't common enough, true. But that's why they'd be so haunted. Maybe most homes don't have a chairlift simply because they don't want to be haunted.
That's true. Chairlifts kind of freak me out.
See?
There's just something about them. They are liminal.
It's really rare. I mean, what other passive liminal spaces are there in your house, really?
Besides your toilet?
Besides your toilet and your chairlift.
Well, that would lead you to number 3. Your bed.
Oh, I was going to guess garbage disposal.
Ooh. No, but your bed. Your bed is number 3.
That is a very passive liminal space. Good point. Because you spend a lot of time there just in a completely vulnerable position, laying down and not wearing shoes or clothing and having your eyes closed or even masked in the dark.
Some people wear clothing, Diana, but I guess you don't.
Just ceremonial robes, really.
When you get done communing with the Dark Lord.
Yeah, you just wait for the blood to dry before going to bed.
That's another place, is the satanic altar you have in your basement.
Also very, very likely to open a portal in most homes. If you don't know where the one is in your home, because it's there somewhere.
It's probably behind the sub pump.
It's in the crawl space. All crawl spaces are demonic and you can't convince me otherwise. Have you smelled one?
That's number 4.
Oh, that's number 4. Cool.
But going back to number 3, yes, you're asleep, you're dreaming. We all know that when we dream, we go to other places. We are incredibly vulnerable.
We might astrally project. You might see the Hat Man.
anything could happen.
I swear I was seeing something that might have looked like the Hat Man last night.
What? Why didn't you lead with that? What happened? Tell me.
Because I'm in denial like usual.
Okay, what happened? Just
No, three different times while I was getting ready for bed, I turned a corner and there was a shadow that moved across the wall in the corner of my eye from like my right hand side. And I kept thinking I was seeing my shadow. The second time this happened, I redid my action. Like, does that happen again? No, that's not happening again. Okay, it must be traffic. Cars going by, lights shining in through the windows, except the shadow was coming from the wrong direction for that, so...
Did it have a hat?
Yeah. It was very, like, hat and trench coat shaped.
Oh, shit.
That's why I thought it was me.
Wait, were you wearing a hat and a trench coat?
So I was also wearing a hat and trench coat to bed. My ceremonial robes, you know.
Okay.
They go with my hat. It's a tricorn hat.
Wow, okay, so Diana's seen the Hat Man.
Apparently.
Or it could be her own shadow when she's in her ceremonial tricorn hat and robe.
It could be. I'm not sure. I saw it 3 times on the way to bed, and I was just like, I think I just saw the Hat Man. It didn't feel ominous, though. Everybody talks about the Hat Man and, like, being terrified. But I was fully awake. I was just really sleepy, but I was fully awake. And I was moving about the house, so it's not like I was laying in bed with sleep paralysis.
Yeah, you didn't feel scared, but at the same time, Diana, I think that you and I are beyond being scared. Let's move on to number 4.
Okay, which is crawl spaces.
We're going to kind of lump some things together here. So crawl spaces, ductwork, anything where you might have to get in and do some maintenance.
I was going to think, like, inside the walls.
Yes, inside the walls. Everybody has spaces inside their walls.
Do we?
Oh, you want to see the space inside my wall here where it's squirrel chewed through?
Yes.
I'll send you a photo when we're done
Okay.
here. Yeah, but yeah, you can definitely see, you can see the outside through my closet. I keep the doors shut. Every once in a while I'll be on here working and I'll hear the squirrel with his little babies in the closet.
Wait, it still lives there? The squirrel still lives in your closet?
My husband was supposed to do that. Didn't get around to it. Yes, okay, so you have all of these spaces in your house that you don't necessarily access all the time. You have your attic, you have your crawl space, you have the bulkheads where ductwork runs through. You have spaces where you can tell one wall ends, but you go into the next room and there's a lot of space before the next wall begins. And you're like, what's in there?
What is it?
Can I knock it out and put it in a closet? Or is it going to be part of my HVAC system? Or is it where they buried the bodies?
Ooh.
I don't know. Every house has these spaces.
Yeah.
And it's been a long time since anyone human was in there.
Ooh. That's usually true, yeah. So the feng shui there sucks.
Right. And what happens when feng shui sucks?
Ghosts.
Ghosts and things from other non-human dimensions
That
can slip in.
creepy
Yes.
spirits. Yeah.
So you probably didn't think about that air conditioning vent pumping that nice cool air into your bedroom is connected to a portal to hell.
Ooh, why is the air so cool?
I'm sure Satan loves air conditioning.
That was cold.
Oh.
Just think of how much colder your AC would run if it wasn't also connected to a portal to hell.
Right?
It'd be
Yeah.
so much more efficient.
When you hear things rattling in your AC,
It's chains. Demons
could be.
with chains and
Could be
whips.
roaches. They're pretty
Ooh.
demonic.
Ooh. Yeah, they are.
I've heard plenty of stories from people that have heard weird things in their AC units and things. It's creepy in there. And you said
Yeah.
crawl space. I lump crawl space in the same thing because it's also a space that you really don't go into very often.
Mm-hmm.
But it's an open, like, things can get in there.
There's definitely things in my crawl space. The first night that we moved into this house, we were trying to go to sleep and we just started hearing, "Meow, meow."
Oh, no.
Meow. There is a cat in heat under our house. She yelled all night. And the other cats wandering the neighborhood, we could hear them from out front, like, meow, meow, where are you? Let's get it on. And they couldn't find her because she was under my house. So confused. So we had the landlord board up the crawl space because there was just this huge opening. And we're like, listen, this needs to happen first. We don't want any more kitties down there. So they did. And like, we were so scared that we'd go to sleep again and hear more.
Oh, that
like,
they didn't get the cat out first?
Like there's a cat trapped under the house. Fortunately, we didn't. But then we realized why the cat was so excited to live under the house. Because as soon as the crawl space was boarded up, there were rats under there. So maybe the cat was the lesser of two evils.
Yeah, all she had to do is get knocked up and then she'd stop yelling.
So there is a little glory hole in the in the front of the house that I found the other day, that just big enough for a rat to go through, right under the door frame. So got to put something in there. And then, interestingly enough, the other day I moved a potted plant that I had put there myself. So really there's no excuse for this, but I moved a potted plant and found out that the floor had like a giant hole in it underneath the plant inside the fireplace going down into the crawl space.
Gross.
Yeah.
So the rats could have...
They could have, if they'd wanted to, they could have just come into my house through the fireplace hole.
Yay.
I had no idea this was there. And it took moving the plant, and the dog was like finally able to go back there and show me, like, there's a problem here.
So the dog had to point it out.
Dog had to point it out.
Do you know how many little spaces you have in here, Diana? Let me show you.
The fireplace is like weird and painted black and too small to get into, so it's hard to see. There was also a pair of long johns in there when I moved in, because there must have been a draft or something, because there was just this pair of black long johns stuffed into a crack in the wall. So I left them there. So I was like,
oh, they matched.
Yeah, it's black on black. It looks fine. And I've got a plant there anyway, so who cares? It's basically right up in the chimney. So you'd have to like be on your back on the floor looking up the chimney to see this. I'm not even sure how I managed to discover those pants, but I didn't discover the hole in the floor anyway. Maybe I was too distracted by pants in the wall. It's distracting.
I'm telling you, spaces and walls, they're weird.
Yeah.
Somebody found pants in there.
Exactly. Yeah, that seemed haunted. So yeah, my fireplace would be a reasonable fifth item for haunted places in the house. Haunted portals. Portal places.
Haunted portals. I think chimneys that aren't used definitely could be on the list. Mm-hmm. Because when you use them, you smoke them out.
And then you have to sweep them out. Yeah.
If you regularly use your fireplace in your chimney, you do a lot of work to kind of clear it out and keep it clear. If you don't, well, it's just a breeding ground for all sorts of things. Not just paranormal, but also birds and rats and long johns. Anything could end up in there.
Santa.
When I was a kid, my parents wouldn't let us use the fireplace in our house because they were like, there's too many birds living in our chimney. We'll kill them.
Aw, just like your closet full of squirrels.
Yes, yes. Which leads me to number 5. Closets.
Of course. Closets are always portals. That's why the kids are afraid of them.
Absolutely. Kids are right. They know something.
They do.
Closets are terrifying. They're little. Ghosts get trapped in them. They often have entrances or exits to attic spaces. How many times have you walked in a closet and you see that panel that theoretically could...
Yeah. I actually had a closet at not my last house or my last house or my last house, but the house before that. I had a closet that it had a staircase in the closet. Like you open the closet doors, to the right are closed and to the left is a full-size staircase. And then a regular old household door that goes to the attic. And it didn't take more than a week before I found out that spiders were like very excited about that.
I bet.
Lots and lots of brown recluse came marching down those stairs. Every day when it got hot, at the hottest part of the day, they'd all march out of the attic and come into my closet. It was terrifying. And of course, that was the bedroom closet. So
Of course it was.
Horrible.
Closets are freaky. We have a fear of closets as children.
Oh, yeah.
Closets are portals. Wardrobes are portals.
Narnia is in a wardrobe.
That's just something in our collective unconscious. When you read Chronicles of Narnia, when you read The Lion and the Witch and the Wardrobe for the very first time, and you learned that the kids were going into another world through the wardrobe, were you surprised, or were you like,
no,
that kind of makes sense?
I was not surprised at all. I was like, I knew it! And I spent a lot of time in the closet after that.
I'm telling you, this is something that I think we know innately. I think this is something we're born with. And then we have it kind of beaten out of us by our parents. So they're like, oh,
our
no.
sleepy dads who are just like, no, there's nothing in the closet. Still nothing. Has there ever been anything in there? Yes, Dad, as soon as you leave.
We know the truth.
We do.
We, your paranormal podcaster extraordinaires, we know there's something in your closet.
And it's not just squirrels.
It's not just the Hat Man or brown recluses or Narnia.
Bad enough.
It's whatever can come through that portal. And the problem with closets is when things do come through, they get stuck.
Because the closet door is always shut?
That, and remember, paranormal entities don't like tight spaces. They have trouble getting out. That's why they get trapped in there. That's Becky's list. Most likely to sprout a portal in your home. And you probably have all of these things in your home.
We're guessing you do, and that's why you listen to this show.
So, what can you do about these portals?
Oh, what can you do?
Absolutely nothing.
Oh, have a nice day.
That's why they're so dangerous.
Goodbye. It's been swell giving you advice here.
The only thing you can do is just spend as little time as possible in them.
Yep, especially on the toilet, because you don't want the toilet monster to get you.
Yeah, just start crapping in the woods. Be like a bear.
Does a bear shit in the woods? I don't know, but I sure do. Wow, I feel terrified and educated, Becky. Thank you for teaching me all the spaces in my house that might open a portal to an alternate dimension, and I have no control over it, so I may as well just suck it up and say, hi, Hat Man, whenever he pops out of one. But in the meantime, I think we should all listen to this commercial, except for our patrons, which you can join by going to patreon.com/homespunhates.
Oh man, I had a rough day.
What happened, honey?
I was out with the guys and they said I wasn't spooky enough.
Oh, honey, how could they say that to you? You're hella spooky.
You think so?
Of course. After all, you came up with the ectoplasm being ghost jizz theory, and you've been scratched by more horny ghosts than anyone else I know.
Well, I suppose you're right.
But if you're really worried about it, I have just the thing.
Oh, wow! A Spooky AF t-shirt?
That's right. Our Spooky AF line comes in shirt, sweatshirt, pillow, and even a high-quality mug.
Man, those are super awesome, especially for something with profanity on it.
What's even better, all these items were hand-lettered exclusively for Homespun Hates by world-renowned calligrapher Nikki Malik.
Holy ghostly cannoli, that's amazing.
From now on, whenever you brandish your Spooky AF gear, no one will accuse you of being boring.
Yeah, I'm Spooky AF.
Visit homespunhates.com for all Spooky AF merchandise. Today on the show, we continue our interview with Sara Rose. If you listened last week, you heard all about the ghosts that Sara Rose has encountered on her job sites at diesel service garages. Now, Sara Rose, your interactions in the diesel shop are not your only ghostly interactions either. You've been dealing with this your whole life, right?
Yes. From when I gained consciousness, basically. We were living in Charleston, South Carolina, and I would play with my door closed in my room. And one day my mom asked me, she's like, why do you always keep your door closed? And I said, well, I don't want them to play with me. Apparently, I don't remember ever seeing anything, but I'm sure there was something. I remember for a very long time I had a dream about a three-headed dog who looked like Cerberus, a Hades dog.
Were you aware of the myth of Cerberus when you were having these dreams?
No, I was very young. I was not into Greek mythology yet. Actually, when I got older and got into Greek mythology, I realized, I'm like, oh, that's the dog I saw whenever I was asleep.
Whoa. Okay, I just got chills.
And you think it was the dog that you were trying to block out when you were little
I think it was.
by closing your door?
Yeah, maybe it was him. It could have been maybe a manifestation of something else, especially since where we were living, it was an older side of Charleston. Not exactly North Charleston, but just an older side of Charleston.
Well, all of Charleston's haunted.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's
yeah.
when I was there recently, I could feel people walking through the streets, and it felt like I had a crowd around me, and there was nobody next to me, and I'm just like, "Ooh." Yeah, Charleston's a fun place if you can go, especially when you're little and seeing things. You're just like, gonna block that out. There's more.
Yeah.
I have blocked it out a little bit, so I have to remember.
Haunted Catholic stuff.
When we were living in Raleigh, I think my mom talked about it. There was a Mary statue that my mom had.
Yes.
So I was 9 or 10, I think. The dresser that it sat on was in front of the bathroom upstairs. Like, that area always looked darker to me because of the stuff in Charleston. I did kind of block out a lot of stuff, but like that area just always seemed like there was something in it. I did not go past it at night. I was hearing things, and there was one night I heard things moving on top of the dresser. There was like little china pieces,
Just little figurines or something?
and I heard things moving on top of it, and I heard footsteps on the carpet, and I was just like, I'm locking the door. I locked the door and hid under my covers because I always slept with the light on because of my night terrors I had as a kid, on top of the things that liked to visit me. And I was just like, I'm not doing it. Like, locked my door and I went back to sleep. And when I woke up the next morning, all of those little things had moved around. And I didn't ask Mom because I didn't think she'd believe me.
Only if you had known, right?
Only if I had known. Because I know my sister, she had an experience with our great-grandmother.
We heard about that. Too.
Yeah. I did not ever have an experience with her, but I have had experiences with my grandfathers and my great-uncle. My great-grandfather, Grandpa Louie, and my great-uncle. They will send me money sometimes. I will find, when I was living in Nashville and my truck was just stolen, I was walking in the Kroger parking lot and I found $100 worth of 20s sitting in the parking lot waiting for me. Because I thought it was the lady that was getting in her car, and I'm like, hey, is this your money? And she goes, no, it's not. She goes, but you're a better person than me because I would have taken it. I'm like, I mean...
At least she didn't say yes.
Yeah, at least she didn't say yes. Because I was going to buy groceries, and I didn't have much in my bank account. And I walked out, and there was $100 laying there for me, and I was like, oh.
Good timing.
Yeah, right? Appreciate that, Grandpa Louie. And then I found more 20s just laying around in places that I'm like, that shouldn't be a 20 right there. When I first started working at Schneider, I found a 20 in the parking lot. And I was just like, where is this money coming from? It's very sporadic when it happens, but I do get gifts from them as well. It's always nice when they do, but...
Sara Rose, tell us why you felt like you couldn't confide in Cynthia, in your mom, when you were little. Like, she didn't share any of her experiences or anything like that with you. She was worried about scaring you. You were worried about worrying her.
Yeah. My mom grew up Roman Catholic, which then put us in church for every Sunday morning for Sunday school, Wednesday night for Mass, and then Saturday, either morning or a Saturday night for Mass. She was working herself out of religious trauma and the cycle of doing that. And my grandmother also, I mentioned when I was at her house when I was younger, I can vaguely remember this. My mom has a picture of Grandpa Louie, the memorial thing. It has a beautiful handmade rosary and has roses in the middle for Grandpa Louie. And my grandmother had that for a long time. And I remember one day there was a man standing next to that. And I said, Mia, there's a man in the house. And she, of course, freaked out because, like, it was not supposed to be talked about. It was not a thing. You do not talk about ghosts. It's not a thing that you do. And told my mom, and then kind of blocked it out from there.
Right, because if you see a ghost, it means they're stuck in purgatory and they haven't moved on.
Exactly, or it's a demon and it's disguising itself. Yeah, all kinds of fun things.
You know, you mentioned the statue of Mary,
Mm-hmm.
I think it was, that was on the dresser. What do you think was about that? Was it the dresser that was haunted or the statue that was haunted? Because I know your great-grandmother came to your sister through also a giant statue of Mary.
Yeah.
What is it with these statues?
Oh no, because we also have 2 cabinets that are haunted too, and Mom doesn't open one of them for that reason.
The haunted cabinets. Built into the wall cabinets, or
No, it's a very old. I think this thing came from Italy, how old it was. Kind of cabinet that my mom has. And that was also a thing that had things coming in and out of it. Not portal, perhaps, but like the family that owned it, things would come in and out of it.
Oh.
Yeah, which is our family lineage all the way back to Italy. Mom also has a 300-year-old French cabinet that I'm sure has seen a civil war of some kind, sitting in there with a bunch of stuff. That one's not as bad, though. That one's not as dark. It's a little bit more airy. It's like it's, it liked living in the house it was in.
What happens when you open the Italian cabinet?
I've been told not to open the Italian cabinet.
You don't know.
I don't know.
there's a Dybbuk inside.
Oh, no.
I do. I've always been told not to open the cabinet. I'm never gonna open the cabinet.
Okay.
Yeah.
Why does she keep it? I don't know.
I don't know why my grandmother doesn't have it, but it's probably what's attached to it or what's in it. I'm not sure because there is a lot of old family things inside of it too. So I'm sure the energy combined together.
Well, I mean, Goodwill will take it.
Ah.
You just need to.
I feel like I might get cursed, Becky.
Yeah, Becky, you were the one who said that you had to warn people if you were going to sell a cursed object.
You could just put a big sign on it that says cursed.
Not sure Goodwill would take it then.
One of these weirdos in the Appalachians will take it.
Right, exactly.
That's true. Well, you could sell it on eBay as cursed or haunted, and you could ask for more that way.
I could, or all of the things will be mad at me and they'll just stay with me and attach themselves to somebody else.
I guess there's that. Yeah, I guess you should just keep it.
I do have some more stories, actually.
Pawpaw White and Paul.
My boyfriend's granddad, he is currently attached to a little train cologne that he always wore, and it looks like a train. I don't know what it's called, but it looks like a train, and it's in my closet, and Pawpaw White stays in the closet.
One of those old-fashioned bottles that's actually like shaped with cologne inside, you mean? Yeah, I've seen a lot of those, yeah.
I've seen a lot of alcohol bottles like that.
Yeah.
It's really common for old cologne to come in a glass bottle that's shaped
Really?
like something weird.
Mm-hmm. I have seen like the flower ones, but this is like what this one is. It's just man, so it's a train.
Of course.
Everyone wants to smell like a train.
It's like man.
It's manly.
I've smelled what trains smell like. They're not great.
It's just coal,
Yeah.
I guess.
My boyfriend's granddad is attached to that. So everywhere we have lived here has been Pawpaw White. When I was living in Nashville, he would wander around and I'd see shadows in my apartment. And I'm like, something right there. And I'd see shadows in my apartment. And when I was cooking, it always felt like there was like a warm hug because Pawpaw White loves cooking and he loves chicken and dumplings. So he'd always like watch over me as I cooked. I'm sure he was judging me because I wasn't doing it the right way. When I moved back to my parents' house, now what he does is he will come down the stairs and he will go take a nap on the couch in the living room. And one day, Mom left the recorder in the room. He heard somebody walk down the stairs. There's nobody in the house. He heard somebody walk down the stairs, sit on the couch, and there is a very, like, distinct snoring. Because he walked downstairs and he took his nap. Because apparently he was tired of being in my closet. Like, he will do that. He will do that like clockwork every day. And he will...
Every day?
Almost every day, as long as there's not a bunch of people in the house. Mom will see him start at the top of the stairs and he'll kind of fade out as he walks into the living room. Because I'm sitting at her desk right now and I can see the stairs. And the dogs will then go nuts because, there's somebody in the house. Like, who is this person?
They haven't gotten used to him yet?
I haven't gotten used to him yet. And so that's Pawpaw White. My boyfriend's dad, who passed 3 years ago now, he was very active because I had tarot cards and I read my tarot cards. And he was very active in my tarot cards. If I was doing a reading on myself, he'd always push through and have something to say. I don't remember the tarot card readings as much because that time period was awful. I just remember he really liked to pull the fool whenever he wanted to call one of us a dumbass.
Now, did you know him while he was still living?
I did, yes ma'am. He passed of COVID but he had a heart attack and then he was dead basically after the heart attack. He was in the hospital for 2 weeks beforehand. So I think that's another reason why he is kind of stuck around, is because he didn't get to talk to anybody before they left. Yeah, it sucked. There was one day, I just got home from work, and Mom started losing shit. And I'm like, what are you losing your mind about? She goes, let's just fucking walk to the door. I'm like, that was not Papa White. I'm like, Papa White is much taller, because Papa White was 6'4", and my boyfriend's dad he was like 5'7". So I'm like, that was not, because I felt it kind of move. I'm like, that was not Papa White. And so she's like, well, who was it? Because he was younger, and I don't know who this person was. So I pulled up a picture of my boyfriend's dad when he was younger, because that's how he wants to be seen as, and not when he was sick. And I said, is this who you saw? And she goes, yes, and he was wearing that exact same thing in the picture. And I was like, I was like, oh, so Paul's here. And Paul was on a mission to get out of the house because he ran through this front door. And I was like, whoa. I have a theory that he went to my boyfriend's house and cleared out the spirits that were there.
The boyfriend's haunted house. This is your boyfriend's old house?
Yes. Yeah.
Did you ever live there?
No, we didn't really stay at the house because of the vibes of the house. When we were in high school, he was living with his dad, of course, and this was the house that I'm speaking about. The first half of the house was built in the 1900s, very early 1900s, I think 1915. And then the second half of the house, which is the kitchen, was built in the 40s. It's just kind of like when you're driving down the road and you see like that little janky little house that looks like it's been around for a long time. That's the house. That's the best way I can explain it. The single layer white shingles, like just something you look at and you're like, I want to live in that. That's what also was. The spirits that were there had committed suicide. I know the old lady, she committed suicide, and the man that was not nice, he committed suicide and was angry that he had committed suicide. So he haunted the house. There was it was actually a dark, stormy night. Me and my boyfriend were walking out of the house, and I was behind my boyfriend, and I felt this man just towering over me. And he was just like, had his shoulders out, and he was just going like, get out. And I'm like, I am going as fast as I possibly can out of this house. Like,
oh shit.
You were in the process of leaving the house when he did this.
We were in the process of leaving the house, and he had followed me because it's an older house, so you walk through the front door and you can see the laundry room. And he had emerged out of the laundry room and was pushing me out of the house. And I'm just like, I'm not going back in the house. I'm not doing it. And when I was back in the house recently, nobody was there. The old lady wasn't there, because she was actually nice. She kind of stayed hidden because of the man. But my boyfriend said he would hear a woman talking, and it was like an old lady going like, hello, hello, at night in his room.
Whoa.
And the man, I don't like talking about him. I get heebie-jeebies still.
Well, it sounds like it was incredibly haunted.
And the land was haunted as well. There was an elemental on it, and he was not happy that the houses were built around his land.
The Cornhusk Demon.
There was one time my boyfriend was sleeping outside, and he woke up and opened the tent doors, and there was a man in a bowler hat, which is really ironic to say, but he was in a bowler hat, and it was a very dark shadow, and all he could see was the red in his eyes. So it was like a Cornhusk demon, basically, and it was just his eyes that he saw that were red. And he was standing right there on the edge of the forest, and my boyfriend closed up the tent and was like, I'm not moving until the sun rises.
What's a Cornhusk demon?
I think I don't know if they're an old wives' tale, but I heard they're a lot in like Iowa and a lot of the places that are flat and grow corn.
Creepy.
They're like field demons, essentially. If I'm correct, they are field demons.
Like in Jeepers Creepers?
Yeah.
Ew.
Yeah.
Ew. Is it related to the Hat Man? Because we always hear the Hat Man, you just see the black outline with the brimmed hat and the sometimes glowing eyes. Sometimes you can tell that he's smiling.
Yeah, he was fully awake when this happened. So, because I know that the Hat Man is, I think it's a subconscious thing, because I also owe the Hat Man money.
Well, some people claim that they see him
Yeah, I've
waking.
seen it when they're wide awake.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I didn't hear about
Yeah.
that.
Uh-huh. But you've seen him too?
I have, yeah.
The Hat Man.
He was part of my night terrors when I was a kid. It'd be the Hat Man, and then the big black dog would come in with the 3 heads.
I wouldn't want them coming in my room to play with me either.
That adds an extra little bit of information to the whole Hat Man thing, because we've been trying to figure out where he's from. If he's like walking around with the Guardian of Hell, then
That's telling. Yeah.
I don't think it's an alien. I think it might be from... So you've seen the Hat Man,
Yep.
you've seen your ancestors, you've seen
Cerberus.
Cerberus, yeah.
you've had haunted objects in your house.
Yep.
Seen an elemental.
Or your boyfriend has.
Yeah.
Well, you've seen elementals too, right?
I have, yep. There's one behind the house.
One angry elemental.
So, there's an old road that the Reeps in this county used to own, and it's called Reepsville Road. Reepsville Road starts in town and goes all the way out to Highway 10. It's a long road. It could basically be considered a highway. So I was driving my F-250, diesel F-250. It's a big truck. And I had my friend in the car with me, and I was like 17, 18. We're driving down the road. It's like 8 o'clock. It's wintertime, so it's dark. And I'm driving, and I see something emerge from the woods. And a very tall, slender man looking thing caught my headlight, walked in front of my truck, stopped the other side of the road, and watched me leave. Because as soon as I saw this thing walk across, I was like, I'm done. No, we're going faster than what the speed limit is. It was not cool. I looked at my friend. I said, did you see that shit? And she was like, yeah. And I was like, okay, so we're not going crazy. She goes, unless we're having a hallucination together. I don't think we are. And this was where it's at, an elemental lives at, because they built a water treatment plant there, and the elemental does not like the water treatment there. And for some reason, he said, I'm gonna walk in front of this girl's truck to prove my point. I have not seen him again since then, but there is something on that bridge that I'll always drive a little bit faster over that bridge, so that way I don't have to be on that bridge for very long.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Does the bridge go over the treatment plant?
So it goes over the river that used to be, because when the elemental walked in front of me, he kind of gave me this image of what the river used to look like. It used to be a lot fuller, it used to have fish, and now it doesn't have any of that, and it's a lot lower because of, I guess, the water treatment plant. Or something was built ahead of it, and he blames the water treatment plant because that's where it was. When he did that, I was like, I didn't go down that road for a very long time after that.
I can't blame you.
And if I did, it was daytime.
Creepy.
Yeah, very creepy.
Oh. Okay, so we've got elementals, Hatman, Cerberus, ghosts, and haunted objects. Did I miss anything?
I think you got everything.
You said you blocked it out when you were a kid and you weren't allowed to talk about it in your family and your extended family. Do you feel like nowadays you're kind of embracing it and therefore seeing more, getting more used to it and seeing more?
I am, yeah. I think I'm seeing it more, and I opened myself up to it more just because I'm like, it's actually kind of cool. Like, I enjoy that kind of thing, especially whenever I go to haunted places and I want to see things.
Well, Sara Rose, really enjoyed everything that you had to share. This has been really, really great.
Thank you.
This is so many stories from both Sara Rose and her mom, Cynthia, and I can't believe how many of these stories are corroborated by so many people.
Haunted loves, would you drive a bit faster over a bridge you saw an elemental on? Have you ever come eye to red eye with a cornhusk demon? And would you open a haunted cabinet that you've been told never, ever to open? If so, you're bound to have a spooky day. Homespun Haints is hosted by Becky Kielimnik and Diana Doty, and produced by Homespun Haints Media LLC. Editing and music by Becky Kielimnik. Show notes by Diana Doty. If you have a ghost story and you'd like to be considered as a guest for this podcast, please visit our website at homespunhaints.com/submit.